Hi, my name is Cameron Carlson with AnimeLocation.tv. I'm here at Matsuricon 2024 with my good pal, Miss Caitlin Glass.
Hi there. Good to see you again.
It's been a while since you and I had a chance to talk. It was at Matsuricon 2019. Have you been since then?
Oh gosh, how has the world been since then? Everything's changed. Everything's different, but I'm all right. I'm still here, still making anime.
So again, one fun thing that happened since the last time we talked, you worked as the director on Solo Leveling. Yep.
I did?
And the best part is you got to make a lot of funny, silly videos with Alex Lee about, the one particular line that was used by Crunchyroll. Yeah. So how is it like working as directing on the show?
Directing on the show is awesome. It's been like top of the list, favorite thing that I've worked on. I love it. I love the story. I love Alex. He's a phenomenal actor. The whole cast are phenomenal. But working with him has been really something very different and cool, and the level at which we connect is pretty wild and new, which is a feat after all this time to have been doing this job and find somebody who's like, I get you, and we just kind of gel and off we go. So it's awesome. I look forward to working on more of it, and getting to do dorky videos is just like icing on the cake. So yeah. Especially
because you're behind the glass while he's in the booth.
Yes, yeah.
Those were really funny. Yeah. Now, again, I actually get called Cammy sometimes by women, and you get to play Cammy now in Street Fighter. You got to come back as her. How is it like coming back to her now that she has a little bit more sophisticated outfit and some stretching? Right. So how is it like coming back to her?
I'm so glad they gave her some trousers after all these years. Poor Cammy. No, I'm thrilled. You never know, like you think you're part of a franchise, but you're like, when they do such a big revamp, you always wonder, like, do I get to still be in it? What's going on? So thank you, Capcom. I cannot say it enough. Thank you for always having me back. Please continue to have me back. She's my favorite. Like, she literally is one of my favorite characters. That means the most to me because I grew up playing Street Fighter. So to be in Street Fighter is like I pinch myself every time. As far as so I didn't know about the redesign until we were recording.
I figured, yeah.
And I worked on the game maybe about a year before it was released to everyone. So, and typically when you're doing a game, you may or may not even have images. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't until we did a cutscene and it showed her, and I'm like, where did her hair go? And they're like, oh, that's not all. And then they pull back, and I'm like, oh my gosh, look at her clothes. Look, she's amazing. I love her so much. So it was cool. And I love her big opening scene on the phone, and just to play that kind of more subdued aspect of her. I was very much into. She's subdued, but also a lot more vicious. Yes. Like the moves that they gave her, and even the lines, things like execute and stuff like that. I'm like, what? Okay. Well,
because she's military as her background, as an agent for the British military. So yeah, it makes sense. But I haven't played Street Fighter, Jesus, since 2.
Oh.
Yeah, but I still love everything.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
John over here is like, yeah, wonderful job.
I played it. Yeah.
So I'm a scientist, and the fun part is you worked on Dr. Stone, and you played
Lillian Weinberg.
Yeah,
Lillian Weinberg, y'all.
Yeah, and she's a singer, and she also is one of the main voices that helps the cast discover old science. Right. What was it like for you? Were A, getting to show off a little more of your singing talent, B, being the voice of reasoning for the cast, and did you learn any science yourself?
Well, I hate to break it to you, but while I am a singer, that is not me singing as Lillian. It came to us from Japan with her songs already in English.
I did not know that.
And so I don't know, you'd have to ask Clifford Chapin if he was looking for an actor who sounded like the singer, or if he'd intended for us to do it as well, and then we just didn't have to, or were told not to.
It just sounds so perfect.
Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad. So whatever it is that she teaches them through her songs and stuff, I was not present for that. So I don't know. I remember being in a space station and having a good time because he wanted it to be just a little bit Southern. Yes. It's almost like she's like the Taylor Swift of that world, even though Taylor Swift doesn't have a Southern accent. She's from Tennessee and all that. And, everybody in the world listens to her music in the world of the show. I'm not Taylor Swift. I mean, a lot of people listen to her music too. But anyway, I just thought it was cool. What a weird and cool way to enter the show. And even though she's, spoiler alert, gone. Like, she's still present in the lives of the characters. So there were those times where I got to show up because they made the records and I had to do the voice, but it was Brandon talking. That was crazy. I'm like, what am I doing? Okay, whatever.
Well, my question, Mark, did you learn any science while working on the show?
No. Not that I remember.
Okay, because they went in the whole process how to make a record, and that would that whole process of that. And I just didn't know if you saw that part of the show.
I remember recording all of that from my closet during the pandemic. So Lord knows.
Alrighty.
No one cared about science in 2021, if you recall.
True enough. So again, we're going to talk about some of our great friends in Texas at Gearbox. You happen to be work on Borderlands 3 and Tiny Tina's Wonderland. In Borderlands 3, you play Ember, a French resistance fighter, and then in Wonderlands, you get to be a playable character voice. So what was it like working on both those games?
Oh, so fun. I've had a relationship with Gearbox since the early days of the Borderlands games, but I wasn't really in them in such a larger capacity until this DLC. I was thrilled. It was hard because the audition, I had to do this French accent, which I'd never done. So I got a dialect coach and learned it and then booked the gig. So I'm like, well, that's cool. She was really fun. I love how she actually reminded me of kind of Winry and Edward because of I'm like, she has auto mail. That's what I thought. Like she had her arm and yeah, exactly. I'm like, what is this weird? Okay, worlds colliding. That was very fun, and especially, just all of it. I love working with them. I've known Joel a long time, so he trusts me a lot to just kind of do whatever, but is also a very good director when guidance is needed. And so that was before the pandemic, and one of the last big things we did was the party, the big release party for that game. Or maybe I'm conflating that with Tiny Tina. Whatever. But there was a party. Tiny Tina's I did entirely in my closet. Wow. 100% from the closet, doing that goofy voice. Which is so fun.
I'd say because the thing is, I was scrolling through all the voice options, and I'm listening for it, and I was like, it's Caitlin. I'm taking Caitlin all the way through the entire game. Never changed my voice ever. The entire game, I kept you the entire game just because of all the funny dialogue. And then I had Aaron Hansen because I had the little skull guy be my pet. So I was like, it's cool. It's Ego Raptor and Caitlin Glass together. This is funny.
Man, that's great. Yeah, that voice was just... And they told me the concept that this is essentially D&D, and that meant I felt so much relief because whenever you do a dialect in something, you're often the caretaker of your own work. You can't expect the directors to know when you do a vowel wrong or a consonant wrong or something. So, but when they say it's D&D, I'm like, so it's people being and my character is going to be Cockney, but they don't necessarily know how to do it. So while I do know how to do it, I wasn't stressed about if I messed up or if some other accent snuck in. Though sometimes the voice would sound way too Australian and we would just have to do it again. Yeah, but God, we had the best time. And the dialect itself is, to me, what brought the character to life. Because when we auditioned, we didn't have to do one. It was dialect if you want. If you do one, be sure to turn in an option that doesn't have it. And in the end, they chose it, and they wanted the dialect version. So,
I mean, because the only other person I could it took me a bit to hear her was Lindbeck. It was a little tough to
a rough one?
Rough and rough.
Yeah.
That's why it was a little hard for me to figure it out. So again, you got to work on Spy Family, and had a movie come out. How's it been working on Spy Family?
Oh man, so fun. It's been a time, I guess, of new things, and that's unexpected. As I mentioned, we've been doing this for so long. So Damien Desmond is actually my first long-form male character in 20 years of work. I've played boy characters for an episode or two, but to just be given that role, Chris George is I want you to be this kid. I'm like, are you kidding me? I was so excited, but also really nervous because I'm like, there are going to be expectations and I have to follow in the footsteps of some really amazing actors that I know that play male roles. So he's been super fun. I have a great time with him, and I can't wait for where his story goes. He just needs love. Just love that little child.
Sorry. No, actually, the fun part is I haven't seen the show at all, so I need to get it. No, so I've told a lot of our fellow friends, I said, I buy all my anime. I don't stream any of it because I understand how important it is to the industry. So I wait till it all comes out, and then I buy it on Black Friday because my credit card, I can build up the points, and then I cash it in on for Amazon, and then I buy it on Amazon.
But, like, not everything has a physical release anymore.
I know, and that's what it makes me so upset.
But you can buy digital. You can buy digital for most things.
I do try as much as possible, though. I do. So, again, now you have been voice acting, as we said, for quite a while, for almost 20 years. What has been one of the biggest changes you've seen as, be it director, voice actor, so on and so forth?
Streaming. Streaming. And the Simuldub kind of initiative that started at Funimation. Like, what can we... And it... with very good intentions, like what can we do to combat piracy? Because we knew like we want anime to keep going, and the only way to do that is to keep pirates from stealing it. So we have to get it into the hands of the fans legally faster. And so the Simuldub thing was born in like 2015.
I can tell you which one.
Laughing Under the Clouds?
Nope.
What?
Space Dandy.
Well, that was on television too, so that's... This is a different beast.
Okay.
That's a different beast.
Okay.
You're not wrong, but I remember other ones.
Oh, no, Laughing Under the Clouds is also part of it because I talked to Terry about that.
Yeah, and Joel directed that too. So that's what's been the biggest adjustment, going from working on a show and you're doing it in its entirety at one time, or like 6 episodes, 12 episodes at a time. And now we're doing, it's basically baking a dozen cookies, 1 cookie at a time. Which is honestly hard. It's hard, and we've kind of gotten it down to a science, but that's the biggest thing, keeping up with the demand. There's also a bit of kind of the corporatization of anime as it becomes the hot commodity that all of the companies want to be a part of. So trying to maintain the integrity of the work that we've done, the bar that we've raised, and make dubs still matter instead of just going back to just another language option. It's hard. It's a hard thing to fight for. So we're trying to keep up the fight.
As much as I love anime, the reason everybody's like, do you watch anything subbed? And I'm like, I can, if it only is in sub, I will also watch it only in sub. But in honesty, I love all of you guys. This is the whole reason I'm here. This is the whole reason I work with John, because I love all of you guys. I love hearing your voices. I love hearing your work. I love hearing how much passion you put into it. So I will try to support as best I possibly can until literally there's nothing left to be supportive of. I will continue to support you guys as much as I can. I love all of you. I love it. Especially because on top of that, you're all my friends.
Oh, thanks.
So, and again, it's kind of speaking about dialects and stuff. Last time we talked about the fact that you had lived in Spain for a period, for a period of time, and you were teaching English and learning Spanish as a second language. Do you feel it actually has helped you in your own career with, dialects and all that type of stuff, and especially if it does call for a Spanish dialect?
I'm not typically speaking Spanish in dubs or even in voiceover, because now what people want is authenticity. So if they'll often want someone from Spain, not just someone who learned the language. But it definitely helps because language learning just expands the mind, truly. It's helped with pronunciation a lot. The purity of the vowels in Spanish translates to the purity of the vowels in Japanese. So it helps me teach actors how to say things when we have Japanese names and place names come up. It's even helped with other language learning, like working on learning some Korean and things as I worked on Solo Leveling and etc. But no, I don't have much occasion to speak Spanish or use Spanish or my dialect in the booth. But people will come and ask me questions because they know that I know more Castilian Spanish or Spain Spanish versus Latin American Spanish. So I'm happy to lend what little info I might have, but I'm by no means an expert.
I mean, if they want tips on going over to Spain to like, hey, what can we see? At least they know to come talk to you.
Yes, that's true. I can tell you what to go visit and what to eat.
Alrighty, wrapping things up, we obviously know about pesky NDAs, but is there anything current other than Solo Leveling that you want fans to check out?
Just keep watching Solo Leveling. It's just the best thing ever, and I love it so much. What am I working on? Right now, I'm directing the new Spice and Wolf.
Oh, goody.
So that's been awesome. Keep watching that if you're into that kind of story. That's what I'm up to. Just that and gearing up for more Solo Leveling when it comes around.
Alrighty, and where can we follow you online so we have all this information? And what would you like to say to all the wonderful fans that have been keeping up with you for over 20 plus years, like I have been?
Gosh, thank you guys for your continued support. It truly means the world. You can keep up with me on the internet, on Instagram, and also X, formerly known as Twitter, though I don't post there as much anymore because it's not fun. But yeah, Instagram, that's where I am, and you can find me as @Caitlin's Voice. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Caitlin. I always have so much fun talking with you. Thank you so much.